What's up, beautiful black people? Today is that day. It's Sunday. It's the Black Wealth Project town hall meeting. Today, this week has been very, very, very weird. Hopefully, we can bring a little bit of semblance of good things here. We got entanglements going. We got crazy presidential election rallies going. And today, we're going to talk about marriages. So strap in, get your notes, get your opinions, because we're going to have a good time. How's the team today?
100%, man. I'm 100%. Real good.
All right. Courtney, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm great.
Y'all got all kinds of noises going on.
Whoa.
Okay, so that was my work email. Relax. I didn't realize it was on. Thanks, guys. I closed it. Thanks.
Hey, we know you got to run that checkup.
That mean the check hit.
Every time did a check hit? Listen, I would love that. I'm like, just send me more. Send me more. No, that's not what happened.
Corey, you good?
Yeah, man. I'm out here, I'm living a life only, a few can dream of.
Now you down in Texas, right? They down there partying hard.
I couldn't tell you, man. I'm on a 10-acre ranch. I don't know where the hell what they doing out here. So man.
Yeah, y'all see Papa's collar on that, right?
No, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't popping no collars. I'm just saying I don't come into contact with human beings very often out here.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. Tracy, how you doing?
I'm good. Trying to stay cool, but I'm good.
As you see, people ain't listening to you, right?
No, they don't listen.
Got you. What's up, Jimmy?
Oh man, I'm doing amazing, man. I'm just waiting for you and Tracy to get back into y'all Kanye debate. Y'all was going at it for a little while, and I was enjoying it. So I'm waiting to see if y'all. I'm waiting to see if y'all bring that. I'm waiting to see if y'all bring that to the show or not.
I was wondering if we could work that in somehow, especially since today's topic is.
I mean, marriage.
Marriage.
It's marriage and wealth. So
yeah. But I guess we can get to it. But it's all good. It's all good. All right, health check in. What's everybody looking like?
I'm down here in the Texas heat. I'm down here, drinking all the water they got on this damn ranch. I don't know nothing about my weight again because I don't check because I really don't care about it. I just want to be healthy. But yeah, I got my jump shots up, so I feel good about myself. My damn right shoulder hurt now though. These 1,000 jump shots a week, they starting to take a toll.
Hey, you might have to take it back to like 900, 800. What's up with you, Malik?
Nothing, man. This was actually probably a terrible week. Actually, it was a terrible week. My wife wasn't cooking as much. I don't like that. So, I had to eat what I could, figure it out. Because I'm 100% dependent on her when it comes to nutrition. So, but no, otherwise it was, a pretty poor week for me.
Okay. Jimmy, did you tear up that telepon? I see you ain't Tread Hampton this week.
Oh no! Listen, man, I'm Tread G Sanford. I just, I wanted to make sure that I got my at name on there. But no, everything was good, man. Peloton, I still got my streak going. Okay. Another pound down, so that's 22 for the folks at home that's keeping track over the last 6 weeks. So, I'm still maintaining. I got my Peloton streak is going close to a month. So, and my Peloton stock's doing amazing. So, shout to Peloton.
Yo, listen, between you and
I see Courtney. I see you are part of the Peloton.
Well, yeah, you and Courtney, y'all gonna have to work out a sponsorship deal from Peloton or something.
Yeah, we need a couple of them.
I mean, she talked to the CEO directly. She talked directly to the CEO. I'm a peasant in the grand scheme of things. Like, she got the CEO on speed dial.
We hanging out. We be doing it.
Absolutely. Courtney, how you make out this week? I know you was on that bike.
So definitely on the bike. I hit 250 this week in terms of 250 rides. So that's super excited. Nice. Super exciting.
Nice.
Let's see. And we started Peloton. So that's been super exciting. Peloton is a team. You get on a team with other people, and I'm about to spill water everywhere, y'all. You get on a team with other people, and you're taking like certain classes. And then that was last week's. And then we get a badge. So like we live for badges in Peloton land. So I'm excited about this badge that's coming up. So it's just, oh yeah, that's right. You hit your century. What did you hit your century last week, Jimmy? Your 100.
I did. I hit my century last week, and now I want to give a shout to Chelsea Jackson Roberts is her name because I'm learning meditation now. It's a black woman on there, and she's amazing. So she does yoga and meditation. So I'm learning to meditate, which is all new for me. So shout to her.
You can do meditation on Peloton. I thought it was all bikes.
No, it's bike. It's
no, man. It's a culture, man.
It's strength training, it's boot camp, it's everything. But yes, Chelsea is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She is amazing. I am just so black girl man all the way. I actually use her sleep meditations to go to sleep, and I was just sharing with a couple of friends that I never make it through the end of the sleep meditation. She'll do her intro. She's like, yeah, but
same here.
And I breathe on, knocked out.
No, same here. That's why I said that, because her sleep meditations are amazing. I be getting amazing sleep. I'm like, this is dope.
Yeah.
Whole new added benefit.
All right, that's dope. That is dope. All right, so moving right along, the B.O.B. of the week that is on Mr. Carter this week.
That is me. Camari, if you don't mind pulling it up. So the B.O.B. of the week is actually a mogul. Aisha Bowe. She's a special human being. Started from humble beginnings and started in community college and became a NASA space engineer. She is a rocket scientist. Nothing but black girl magic going on.
Wow.
She's just an amazing person. And this is her page. And so she talks about how she was trying to raise capital for her business, and how she really wasn't able to as a black woman and as a black company in general, even though it was viable. And then she started her business. She had her funding from the government using government contracts. This is her company right here. This is STEM Board. And what they do is they provide services for the federal government. They provide tech service and engineering for Homeland Security and Department of Health and Human Services. I mean, her company gets hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts every year, like I said, for aeronautics, for all types of tech stuff. And then what she did is she created a product, which is right here, Lingo. It's for 13 plus, but I bought it for my son 8. Camari, scroll down some to the actual product. So it's a STEM product. And what they do is the kids, they put together a sensor for an autonomous vehicle. And they have the set, which is the set right here you see. And it's only $70, and it comes with everything you need to build this one component of an autonomous vehicle. Like I said, it says 13 and up. My son is 8. He enjoys it. He hasn't completed it. He struggles here and there, get a little frustrated. But like I said, it's for 13-year-olds, so I don't expect him to be perfect with it. But they also have excellent customer service. I mean, I sent them an email, and they got right back at me. It was 2 a.m, and they answered my email at 2 a.m. So they got amazing customer service. And if you got any kids you might want to get into STEM, I really recommend picking up this product right here, Lingo, and definitely follow what she's doing. We need more people in that space. So that's the B.O.B. of the week. Aisha Bowe, get at it. Black girl.
Aisha Bowe. All righty.
Black girl magic.
Black girl magic.
That's fire.
Right. Can't go wrong with that. That was dope. Thank you, Malik.
Yeah.
Thank you, Malik.
For sure.
All right. As we move right along, let's just check in with everybody that's here. Listen, everybody, do me a favor. You're watching the Black Wealth Project. Share this out with some people who want to see some fabulous black folks talk about money, talk about community, and talk about it in the proper context. Sadly, many a day, I see context or I see conversations that are being had, but the context is all off. And it's really sad because many times I feel like the blind are leading the blind. So hopefully we can help give a little bit of direction on that and try to go on the right way. At least that is what our intentions are. So share this out with as many people that are looking for good black wealth resources. So
right now, share it right now if you're on right now, send it to all your friends because we live. Tell them to log in.
Yeah.
So Don Johnson, how you doing, sir? Thanks for checking in with us.
What's up, Don?
Jabari, how are you?
Yo, man.
All my superheroes on one show. I love that. Now,
Hey, Bar.
good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Rich
side note.
What the website was. What was the website again, Malik?
For Lingo, you probably got to go to Aisha Bowles' page first.
No, I got it.
You go and put the bottom so they can see if you don't mind, like pin it up there.
No, I got it.
And while you doing that, Camari, I just want to say real quick on the side note, shout to Jabbar. He's our next guest on the BuyTheHood podcast that drops Wednesday. Amazing show. We ended up talking for like over 2 hours. Our longest show we've ever done. He was telling some amazing stories and gave an insight to his background.
He talk for sure. He definitely talk.
No, but he was dropping stories and the stories were fire. So I couldn't, you know what I mean? Like I let him go, but gave a lot of insight. So
he was definitely letting them hands go on the show.
Salute to Jabbar. That'll be out this Wednesday.
That's what's up. I definitely remind us about that, Jimmy. But you know, I always say everybody go listen to BuyTheHood podcast every week anyway. Y'all always have dope fire interviews. So I'm definitely with that.
Appreciate that.
All right, folks. So y'all know what the day is. Y'all know what the time is. We are talking about marriage, and is marriage important to Black wealth in our community? So I want to start this off with the person whose idea it was, Miss Courtney Richardson. You are first up on the mic, ma'am.
Oh, I didn't expect that. but I think it's important that we talk about marriage in the context of wealth. So I think to answer the question simply, yes, marriage is important to Black wealth. And the reason why I say that is that, I mean, it's something as simple as 2 incomes are better than none, or 1. Also, in terms of the creation, is that, you know, I talked about in an article this week that was featured on debt.com, is that group economics. I think marriage is kind of the cornerstone of group economics. And then also you get treated better in the tax code. So you get treated better in the tax code. And then also it's a cornerstone of group economics and working together. I think one of the things that I have noticed across the board is that people get married for love and not necessarily for business. And it's not that the two are mutually exclusive, but the leading cause of marriage dissolution is finances. So again, you have to not only like love the person, like the person, but on top of all of that, you guys have to be good business partners together, and you guys have to have the same understanding of money. And that's pretty much like my beginning conversation, and I think that's a good way to get it started. So I yield the floor.
Malik, you're a married man. You were just talking about your wife, so I'm coming to you.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I think that marriage is super important. I mean, I for a fact wouldn't have been able to do as much as I've done without my partner. I mean, I'm making no secret that she held all the bills down for a year while I was getting started in my business, right? And so you got to have that right person. And not one time was she like, go get a job, contribute to these bills. Like, she made it possible for me to go out here, you know, in these streets and make a better life for both of us. So 100% marriage is important. I'm not saying you have to be married, but marriage was important to me, and to make my life easier so I can make more money and come home in comfort.
No, I got that. Plus, you can't eat if you ain't married, right?
Yeah, I can't. If I wasn't married, I'd be eating halal platters and chicken wings and fried rice, man, every day.
Hey, listen, that's honest. Corey, I'm coming to you next, brother.
Yeah, man. As a person who's been married for more than 10 years, it's definitely important. My wife is she's the spark plug. You know what I mean? She keeps me moving and motivated, because, to be honest, like, I be wanting to snap off and fly off the deep end on stuff, and she's the, like, how you say, the life raft that pull me back, because I be wanting to wild out. And so, you know, a lot of y'all don't be catching both barrels. You only get one barrel because of her. So, for the yo, man.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, man. I was really wilding out here. So, you know, thank God for her, for y'all. not for me. So, but on another note, you know, she does a beautiful job raising our 3 children too, and so you know, because I'm a terrible influence, and she also keeps me from being a terrible influence on my 3 children, and so I gotta give all thanks to my beautiful wife for being that person in my life.
Listen, remind me to get this clip so you can send this to your wife because it sounds like some brownie points.
Oh, I ain't scoring no brownie points. Like the truth may sound stranger than fiction, but I was really wild out. So, you know.
Nah, I believe you. I'm just joking around. Tracy, what do you says?
Yeah, absolutely. Marriage is definitely important to Black wealth, and I agree with everything that everybody has already stated so far. I think I would probably touch a little bit more on having that wealth mindset requires you to be in a space of having a peace and a center at home. And a lot of times in marriage, in a relationship where you have a partnership, you have somebody whose job it is to definitely cultivate or switch off on creating that level of peace. And I think it's important to make sure that you have someone in your life that can bring you into a space of centered so you can go out and fight those battles in the world, as well as also being able to have a 2-person tag team to handle problems, as well as also be able to create your legacy, which is your children or the children that you bring into the home. So,
okay, all right, and last but not least, Jimmy the Blueprint. What you got for us?
Yes, sir. I think that marriage is crucial to wealth building, specifically within our community. I think that Black love and Black marriage is a revolutionary act these days. And I think that it's very important because as someone who's married and my wife is like my best friend, my COO, my accountant, everything, I understand the power of that. But it's not just being married, it's being married to someone who's the right person, who's on the same page. When you're on the same page with someone, that's a cheat code because you can achieve so much. Not only and Courtney mentioned the tax code, everyone looks at you different. Yep. Listen, as someone who's been in real estate for a long time, I've noticed a difference in even getting hard money when I write on an application that I'm married. Mm-hmm. It's like a certain level of responsibility that the world assigns to you just by saying you're married. If you want to get into specifics, like it's not just how you feel about yourself and what you're able to do, but it's how everyone else perceives you. Everyone else gives you this certain level of responsibility when you know it's out there that you're married, but also just on a basic level, you know, being able to work together with someone. You can always achieve more with more people. You know what I mean? So I think it's crucial. And I think this is a great conversation to have for our community because, and also as someone who studies data and statistics, all the statistics show that being married is the cheat code. I was reading one from, I think it was Ohio State. There's like a 93% difference in married people who work in corporate America versus non-married. Like it's that big of a difference. You look at the Forbes list. There's no one on the Forbes list who's not married, right? And it's a reason for that. I mean, the data shows that this is what it is. So we can talk about how we feel about it, but there's also factual data to back this up.
All right, that's great perspective. Great perspective. I guess I am the only one left. I think marriage is indeed very important when it comes to wealth building, as we talk about it from a Black community standpoint. Obviously, we all can do things on our own, but when you have two couples that are together, a couple that's together, two individuals that are together that are moving together, like-minded as one, it's very powerful. You know, when they say when two join as one, it's unstoppable. So I think it's definitely important. Now, we've talked about it from the money aspect, though. What I think is really mostly important about marriage is the stability of Black families and having two-parent households. Because it took, you know, anytime we talk about marriage, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have children. And a lot of these children, a lot of times these days, don't have both parents in the household. Sometimes they don't have any parent in the household. But that's, you know, kind of a whole other story. But the better we have, the better our marriages are, the better our children are. The better our children are, the better are our legacy and our opportunities to create generational wealth as we go forward. Because you need, it took two people to create that child. It takes two people to raise that child, to the best of their ability. I know there's different situations out there, but it will be sad to have 50%, when you only have one parent there as opposed to two. So that just helps the mental, emotional confidence. There's so many things that goes along with having a two-parent household that goes into wealth creation.
So I'm gonna say this. I don't really believe the stats of those households being empty, right? So me coming from a background working in public housing, 99% of the leases have female head of households and no man on the lease. But every one of them houses has somebody living in them, had a man living in them, right? And so we really, like, even when people are buying out, what I always say is like women are the head of household on the leases, and women are the ones buying houses, and guys just live with them, right? And that's what I learned from my time really at public housing. And like I said, but so there are men there. Sometimes it's better that they're not like the guys that's there, right? But I really don't believe that the statistic. If you're looking at the tax records, maybe, but in real life, I don't think that's real. I think there are more men in the households than the state says.
Yeah, but what I would say to you, Malik, is, and you just kind of said it, right? There might be men there, but they're not really family. And the man, a lot of times that's there, isn't invested into the family, meaning the woman and the children. And so that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's situationships, entanglements that might have situations like that, but they're not planning together. A lot of times, listen, I got to use that word as much as possible. Matter of fact, I'm going on a side note. There was a song that was dropped this week called "Entanglement." August.
Rick Ross.
Oh no.
Yeah, very.
No.
We don't need more of that in our community as it relates to wealth.
We heard it. We heard the song.
Honestly, I think we may need more of it. We may need more polygamous relationships. I think that polygamy works if people are honest about it. Is that if you got the alliance, something different. But if everybody
so hold on, that wasn't polygamy. That's number one. But I agree with you about polygamy.
He's trying to forward the conversation.
That was not polygamy. I agree.
That's a different show.
Malik's just trying to forward this conversation, man.
Yeah.
All right. So hold on. Hold y'all horses. I just want to chime in with everybody first. Don Johnson, read your own time and space. The section on religion was fire. All right. So you know what?
Appreciate you, bro.
In order of time and space, I'm going to order it today when we get off.
Can I get an autograph copy? I only want one if I can get
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Me one, please.
Yep. That works.
Don also said, yes, black love is the key to creating long-lasting black wealth. Now, Adrian Anderson said, if you're financially savvy, you can create your own wealth. Now, for marriages, they are the main cornerstone for creating good communities. That's interesting. Anybody have anything for that one?
Yeah,
yeah. Anybody can build money up, but if you want to build a community up, you got to have people to create that community, and that's where the marriages come in. And now, go ahead.
Go ahead, Corey. No, go ahead.
No,
you got it.
I was gonna say also, those when you have those marriages, the kids get people to look up to. You know what I mean? They get to see what relationships look like, and then you get to have people relate to other people better. So there's a lot of things that come along with functional marriages that that help people. I know a lot of people that come from functional marriages that have succeeded at it at super high level, and then I also know some people who come from functional marriages that was showing leg at 14 and was and was selling drugs at 14. So it does that is not the be all and end all, but overall the numbers will tell you that if you come from a functional family, you do more functional things. You know what I mean? And so having that black family together is cornerstone. Like cornerstone is not even the proper word. It's like the pillar. It's more than the cornerstone. Like the cornerstone, the pillar, the basement is all of it. You need that to make it pop.
Right. All
and
right,
all
so
I was going to say is,
hold on, Jimmy.
I was just going to say this.
Jimmy, hold on. I got Malik, then I'm coming to you.
All right, so go to Jimmy. It's fine. Go to Jimmy.
Okay, all I was going to say is financially savvy, but it all depends upon how you define wealth, because wealth isn't just about economics and money. So how are you defining wealth is the first thing, because I noticed that financially savvy, but also the data just shows otherwise. And again, we can all have our opinions, but data shows that it's easier. More people have acquired wealth by being married. Like those are facts, and it's study after study after study after study that shows the same thing.
Oh, I agree. I want to talk about the tax code real quick, because the tax code favors marriage, and they don't even just favor marriage in life, but it favors marriage in death. And people just lose the opportunity. Like Pennsylvania has an inheritance tax, and who doesn't get taxed for inheritance? Spouses. So it's 0%. So I can transfer money to my spouse at death, and my spouse doesn't get taxed on it. But if I transfer it to my children, they get hit over the head with a 4.5% tax. If I transfer it to my siblings, it's 12%. If I transfer it to my cousin or the person around the corner, it's 15%. So again, like there's that death portion. And then on top of that, on the federal tax side, I mean, of course you have to have 11 million, but you get a spousal deduction code. So it goes up to 22 million that you can avoid being taxed on the federal side from a federal state tax purpose. So again, a lot of people just kind of really lose out on these opportunities because they're saying, well, I'm financially savvy. And it's like, yeah, you are. Okay, good for you. And these are no shots. But again, it's about creating a sustainable community over time. And marriage is the foundation to do so. And we have the studies, we have the preferential treatment in the tax code, which is the cheat code, the money code. I mean, we have to really put these things in perspective. Now, I think we have some other things that preclude us from getting involved in marriage, which are trust issues, but that's another conversation. And I think we need to separate that out, the difference between being financially savvy and the difference between not trusting each other.
All right. Let's keep going through these.
Yeah,
it's always a benefit to have a partner on the same page. Not everyone has that type of support, unfortunately. That's facts.
All facts.
Yep.
Tyrone Benjamin Chavis, how are you? Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
Hey, Ty.
Yeah.
Courtney froze up. We couldn't get the whole thing.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Molly says, indeed. How you doing, Molly? Same page. Bro, you preaching right now. Two-parent households will cure a lot about. Yeah, I agree. Well, let me say this: two-parent households, that the word Corey used, I think is very appropriate. Functional, because we do have a lot of households that are not functional, or at least not even trying to be functional. So yeah, two-parent functional, two-parent households will cure.
Yeah, I made sure to say functional because I know a lot of two-parent households that are dysfunctional as hell, and so. Functional, yes.
Listen, we got to keep entanglements in play. It's not my fault. Oh, so Adrian said, "Oh hell no polygamy, not on purpose."
Not for you.
So how do you not have polygamy on purpose? Like, do you accidentally marry?
Yeah.
So my thing is this, like, I'm a whole monogamous person, but I've actually seen the model of polygamy. And for those people who can be a part of it, it's actually not a bad thing for those who can kind of get into it. It is a group economics background. So if that's your thing.
I want to chime in on this, right? Because I grew up around Pan-African people, and many of them practice polygamy. And what my mentor always taught me was that it's polygamy, not polygamy, right? And so all the times we were talking about it, and they're looking at it for the sex. But anybody that knows if you're really serious about a woman, it's never always going to be just about the sex. And you're going to have to be strong enough to take care of two or more women. That's not for the meek.
Hey, listen, let me jump in real quick. So I had a client, right, who's now, I'm not going to say who it was, doesn't matter.
Yeah, no snitching. No snitching.
No. He wanted, so I was looking for a triplex for him so he could put a wife on each different floor.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm like, listen, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, perfect sense.
I mean,
Perfect sense for who
were they
though?
all working, Malik?
Huh?
Were they all working?
I have no idea his wife was. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I know he was the one that was on a pre-approval, but so I don't know what the wives were working or whatnot.
Gotcha. All right, so Tiffany Lovett says the foundation. Absolutely. Alan Evans says that's it right there. Don says we all understand marriage is a game changer for Black wealth. Well,
Yep.
I don't know, Don. We got
I don't know if we all understand. Yeah, I don't know if we all understand that marriage.
Well, yeah, it's a game changer, but I don't know. Yeah. It is a game changer, but we don't know if everybody understands that.
And I do want to say this, right? So when we talk about, well, at least when I talk about marriage, it's however you, the person, wants to define it. So if you're not into traditional marriage, that's cool. But at least you have the commitment of family. So for me, it's about the commitment of family.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Yeah. So Tyrone says marriage provides a level focus for both husband and wife that promotes collective wife building. Y'all see Courtney over there throwing up the hearts. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but clearly that's her boo. That's her boo thing.
That is my fiance, and I appreciate, it really makes a difference. It really makes a difference. We've been working on a couple of things, and Tracy knows this, for about a year. And I really needed him to step in and fill in the gap. And everybody's like, oh, Courtney's the Ivy investor, blah, blah, blah. But I needed him to run the play, and he ran that play. Listen, and it gets you excited. And it's not just, because this person, you're romantically involved with them, but it's just like, no, this person had my back. Like, I really needed him to run this play, and he executed. I was like, this is what I need. What do you think? He said, yep, blah, 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 and it was taken care of. And I think when you're looking to create wealth, you need somebody who's on the same page with you. And again, that is the cornerstone of business. That's the cornerstone of business. I can't have a business partner. My business partner's going left, and my business partner's I'm going right. We have a real serious problem. Same thing in the household. You have a husband going left, you have a wife going right. What's going to happen? You're going to have a serious problem in the household. And I believe in separation of duties, and not necessarily like, household duties or whatever, but everybody has kind of their thing. They have their lane. I'm a good with numbers. There's other stuff that I probably should not touch. And again, that's the same thing with business, and that opportunity is about getting that together and building off each other's strengths. And that's what I think is the foundation and what makes it the cornerstone.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing, right? I thought about something
for everybody, right, including the panel and the audience. Why don't we see these 50-year, 40-year, 30-year marriages anymore?
We do.
We do.
Yeah, I think we do.
In my community, I see them a lot.
I mean, everybody says that they're not as prevalent.
I mean, I don't think you're seeing the longer marriages because I don't think as many people are getting married. It's just like, all right, it's like, why would I get married and struggle if a lot of people say I can struggle, I can do bad all by myself. So they keep getting into the same kind of relationships and struggling in those relationships. And so when they struggle in those relationships, you don't see long 40 and 50-year marriages. Well, that's the first thing you don't see they not get married. And the second piece is we're not living long enough to have 40 and 50-year marriages. Yeah. The health part of it. So the other reason why you don't see those long marriages is because we don't live long enough to make it to that far to be married that long.
I think another part of it is people are getting married later. So it's not just that they're not getting married at all, but when they do, they're getting married later on in life. Yeah. So you have people who are doing other things. I think that just culture and society has changed. So people aren't getting married at 18, 19, 20 anymore. So that changes, seeing that 50-year marriage. So I think that's one of the reasons you don't see it. But I also think that it still does exist. You still you see it somewhat. The divorce rates are high. And that's a whole other issue we probably can tackle is why are the divorce rates high? Like, is divorce just an easy option in 2020?
I mean, I think that women in general have more options than they did before. Women like the men were like the main, breadwinners, but now women out there, they kicking that. They making real bread and they have real options. Not like husband in the factory bringing the bread home and women there stuck because she don't have anywhere to go, no money. Now she's like, man, I don't even need you anymore. I'm good. And so it's easier to shift.
I'm with that. I like.
No, I mean, I also think a lot of people going to Jimmy's question, right? I think a lot of people get married for the wrong reasons a lot of times, and they truly haven't taken the time to learn themselves and master themselves before they get married to someone else.
I agree with that.
Yeah, a lot of times people are looking for someone to complete them. You should already
one time
before you come to.
I've heard Corey's wife say something one time, and I was like, "Oh, that's a bar." She said, "Some people want the wedding, they don't want the marriage." Oh, I was like, "Damn, that's a bar."
That was a business idea I had. I had an idea to put together a ceremony for single women, just so they can have all that pageantry without actually getting married.
Yeah. Malik just always get to the dollar. He's just like, all right, come on, let's go. Come on, man.
To the bag.
He's always right to
attention. I got you.
Line to the bag.
Listen.
I can't. I'm not even entertaining that.
Wait a minute, Tracy. You wouldn't be interested in doing that?
No.
She's like, no, not at all.
A lot of people
always to the bag.
Always to the bag. They don't really want the whole relationship, the whole wedding. The ceremonies was important.
No,
man.
Not at all.
That's a prom, dog. You basically throwing an adult prom.
We do that?
No.
What's that, Courtney?
I want an adult prom. Can we do an adult prom? I mean, when outside opens up, why not?
We can go to an adult prom, but it's not going to be called a marriage or a wedding reception or any of this.
I'm not wearing a tux, but we can do a prom.
The Black Wealth Project adult prom.
I
gotta get a mask to match my tie.
Do it.
No, I think somebody in either DC or Atlanta, they do it's called Tux and Chucks, and the event looked crazy. I might want to go something like that.
I've seen that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So what do y'all think some of the key things people should bring to a marriage before they get married? What should they be thinking about and how should they be going about it?
Let me start up with this, right? So what I did with my wife, when we started to get serious, we both together our credit reports so we could actually see our spending habits and not where it just be like guessing. And like so we understand what we were about to embark on together. I saw her report, she saw my report, we went through it. Neither one of us had great credit, but we were both working towards becoming better credit, and it ended up, working out for us. Other people is different. Other people really have poor spending habits, probably with a good spending habits, they don't work. But two people with poor spending habits will work, right? And so, like I said, we just got credit reports, we understood spending, and for us, that worked. You got to be honest up front. Don't figure it out later on.
Right. What you think, Corey?
I mean, what you should bring to the table. I mean, you should bring your I'm going to say honesty to the table, and I don't think that's the right word I'm looking for. But you should really just be bringing who you are to the table. Like, all right, this is who I am and what I do, and this is who you are and what you do, and then let's bring it together. Let's formulate it like Voltron. Like, let's put it all together and decide, do we want to move down this path together? Because really, I haven't changed much as far as who I am is in our marriage. My attitude towards things and toward the world hasn't changed, but what I have changed a lot is how I react to those things. Like, because before I got married, I used to just spaz and be like, all right, I can go handle that because I ain't had to worry about nobody but me. But then when I got married, I had to, be mindful and cognizant that my actions represented her in the streets. So I stopped doing a lot of the stuff that I was doing in the street. And so it makes it better, to if you bring your if that person knows who you are, like don't hide parts of your personality and don't hide parts of your past and stuff from your spouse, because when it come up inside the marriage and they haven't seen that part of it, they're gonna think you lied to them, and you did kind of by omission. So bring who you are. Make sure you bring that.
Gotcha. Tracy, I'm coming to you next. What do you think is important to bring to the table?
I agree with Corey. Like, there's got to be a level of honesty with yourself as well as with the other person. And I think a lot of people have not met themselves. And it's tough for them to be able to see that mirror reflection in their partner. And they have to really, really do that before they decide to actually completely mesh two separate lives together. I mean, the finances and all that stuff, to me, that's a no-brainer. You guys do have to discuss the hard topics of what do you owe, who do you owe, what are your spending habits, what things are important to you, but you also got to discuss, your families, how you were raised, what religion you both practice. Are you going to do that for the children? Are you going to pick one? Like, tough conversations need to be had prior to marriage before actually taking that step. And I feel like one of the things that I would say bringing to a marriage you should bring is honest level communication to really, really discuss just who you are, what you want out of life, what you want out of a marriage, and just what you foresee. And I would also say one other thing: flexibility and patience. Like, being able to pivot when things go wrong or when things aren't exactly what you expected them to be is a huge asset in long-term relationships of any kind. So if you're very, very rigid and stagnant, it's going to be tough for longevity. So,
gotcha. Jimmy, coming to you next.
It's funny. Like, so
brought to the table.
I remember before I got married to my wife, she actually went and got one of those books that said, like, questions to ask each other before you get married. No, seriously. And we actually were going through it and having conversations, but through those conversations and being honest, you have a better understanding of not just who you are now, but what your goals are and what do you want to accomplish in life. Because I always find it interesting when I see people like go through problems in their relationship, and it's like, I've seen people, and I'm not going to name any names because they might be watching, where it's like they get married and they say, well, she doesn't want to have kids and I want to have a whole full family. I'm like, y'all didn't have that conversation before you walked down the aisle. Right. I've seen people say, he wants to move out west and I want to stay here in Philly. And I'm like, he always wanted to move out west. Y'all didn't have these conversations. So I'm always amazed at the conversations that people don't have before they make that huge commitment. So I think it's about honesty, as everyone said. I mean, it has to be about honesty, but you have to have conversations, not about just who you are now, but what your goals and what are some of the things that you want to accomplish in life. Because you guys are moving in two separate directions. That's going to be problematic.
Gotcha. Courtney, coming to you next. So what do you think? What should be brought to the table? And I saved you for last since Tyrone's on.
He was. I don't know if he's on anymore. I think he had another meeting.
Oh, but y'all are kind of going through that process now. So I wanted to get your take on it as well.
Conflict resolution. I have noticed, and this is across, like Tracy brought a very good point about relationships in general. I feel like a lot of people do not know how to resolve conflicts in relationships in general, and it becomes magnified when you get married. Right. And I think that is such a huge thing, is that, listen, how are we going to resolve this conflict? Like, we can't, you can't sit here and you can, let me back up. You can just sit around and cuss each other out and nothing gets resolved. You can do that. But over time, you're eroding at the foundation. And at some point, there's going to be some straw that breaks the camel's back. And nobody really wants that. So again, the ability to resolve conflict and the ability to kind of, I think someone said in the comments, understand, oh, hey, Ty, understand your deal breakers. Like, I have walked through my deal breakers, like and I've walked through them. And I think it's just really important that conflict resolution and knowing who you are and where you need to improve. And I think one of the things that Ty said a very long time ago, he's like, listen, you have to be okay with the person if they never change. I think a lot of people come into a relationship like, well, I would like so-and-so better if they changed this thing. And I think that's a very dangerous way to go into a relationship, because the person could not get better. They could stay the same, or they can get worse, like, and I think those are things that people don't really think about. They think about all the good things that can happen, but not necessarily the bad things. And I think when you set yourself up for kind of living in this like fairy tale land, and I think this is a problem, the way that marriage is romanticized. I think that does a lot of us a disservice, because when we get in the thick of things, we're like, well, who? Like, I think Anita Baker has a song about fairy tales, and like we were told that. She was like, nobody told me. I thought somebody was going to come to save me. And she's like, nobody told me that. And I'm like, what are we telling our children about what a marriage looks like, what a marriage feels like? And we're telling somebody's going to sweep us off our feet and blah, blah, blah. Well, what if someone never gets swept off their feet? Does that mean that they can't be in a successful marriage? Absolutely not. So we have.
I want to ask a follow-up question. I want to pose this to the panel as well.
Mm-hmm.
You said not to change, but what about growth? I mean, is it not acceptable to have growth or expect growth from your spouse as you grow older and do things and mature?
You definitely need to be open to, everyone needs to be open to grow. I think that's the big things, but I think you have to be very careful about the things that you expect from your spouse. Because again, people expect, well, I expected so-and-so to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, why did you expect so-and-so to do X, Y, and Z? Have they done X, Y, and Z, X or Y or Z before then? Like, I think we really have these really strange expectations, but I do expect people to grow. And I expect people, I have an expectation of myself to grow. But again, you have to know who you are and where you are before you move anything further in terms about growth and maturation, because I hope we are continuing to mature, but sometimes we get stuck too. So again, it's expecting the person to be who they are and whatever that person is and however that looks.
That's Corey. I want to ask the same question to you. You think it's okay for people to grow? Because I ask that question because sometimes people they say change, right, and other people mean grow. So I wanted to get your take on it.
That question sounds crazy.
yeah. I have zero expectations of people to change. I have zero expectations of other people's actions. All I'm going to do is judge you upon the actions that you do. Period. I'm gonna judge you on what you say. Most people, I don't even judge them on what they say. I just watch what they do. But because me and my wife are in a interpersonal relationship, in this very, very close relationship, I'm gonna listen to what you say and then I'm gonna watch what you do. I don't really have no expectations about what other people do. Only person I have expectations about what they're gonna do is me. Like, I don't expect anybody else to do anything. I just watch what you say you're gonna do, and then I watch and see if you're gonna do it. If you're mostly consistent, then I'm gonna be good with that. Everybody's not gonna be consistent 100% of the time. I don't expect perfection, but what I'm saying is you can't be all over the place all the time. That's not gonna work. So that's the thing that that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking at the consistency in what you want and how you go get what you want, not what I want for you. Like, that's never going to work. Like, if we're two people that's going to come together as one, you have to be happy with you. Like, I can't be happy for you and then have and expect that's going to be, what's going to make you grow and what's going to make you be happy. I have zero expectation of that.
Gotcha.
Because I'm not going to take that expectation on. Like, right. I need to make me happy. So I'm not taking that expectation on.
Gotcha. Malik, I'm coming to you next. And let me rephrase the question so it's a little bit clearer. Is it okay to expect your spouse, your significant other, to grow as you get older in your relationship?
What I grew, right? And I've changed, we started dating. When we started dating, I probably was not a good person for her at the time. I mean, she's fortunate that I actually grew into a better person, and so I would hope that, that the people would do, it's expectation to change, as experiences changes. Yes, they are going to change, but are we going to go together or are we going to grow apart? So far in the relationship, we've grown together, but that's it.
Gotcha. Jimmy.
Yeah, I think that everybody grows. Like your phrase was grow. If you're not growing as you mature, then what are you doing? Like, everyone should grow in some form of fashion. So, but I think that communication is key. So as you're growing into whoever you're going to become, I think it's about communication, you know, because if you're thinking the same way, you know, say at 40 or 50 than you did at 20, then something's wrong with that. But as you grow, you should have this great communication. I think communication is the key to you know, a successful marriage, amongst other things. But as you grow, just have a good communication with your partner.
Gotcha. Tracy, what do you think? Is it okay to expect your significant other to grow as your relationship matures?
Yes, absolutely. I think you should. But I think people need to really, really understand, and I wanted to delve deeper into the definition of growth versus change. Like when I use an analogy of if you're with somebody from the seedling stage and they grow into a big oak tree, there are roots and foundation that you've been a part of, that you've watched and you've been a part of, and understand where the leaves came from, where the branches came from, and that kind of thing. Communication, like Jimmy said, is very important because you got to grow together. I got to know how the wind is swaying in order to make the branches that you have. All those things are part of who you are in your growth. Now, if you say, I don't want to be an oak tree no more, I want to be, you know,
A rapper. I'm dropping a mixtape.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a complete dynamic change that's completely shifted from what we were working through, talking through, what we created this foundation on. And now the discussion needs to be, can we pivot? But the reality of it is, I do feel like it's important for everyone to grow and to grow together, so that way you can have those strong roots and those strong oak tree level foundations. But people tend to, or it can a lot of times change, or they've expected someone saying, oh, I know we started off being this tree, but I really, really want to be, you know, a dog. And you never discussed that. You never said, you know, I see myself 20 years later being a dog. Those conversations need to be had. People need to discuss them. And if you have ideologies that state what we're doing right now and the path that we're walking right now, I don't want to be here 20 years from now. That's a discussion that needs to be had, because that person that you're building that path with may think that that's cool for 20 years.
Well, I asked that question, right, because we are talking about Black wealth. And oftentimes people may start out working a 9-to-5 job, and then they may need to pivot, like you said, Tracy, and buy a piece of property or start a company or invest in some stocks. And that takes change, that takes growth. And I've seen just through my interactions with my clients, there is a lot of friction oftentimes when that happens. So, you know, I'm always interested about that, because I do think it's very important that you attempt to grow together, like be very purposeful about growing together with your spouse.
No, I agree with you. I just feel like even with the conversation of what you're talking about, it's the ideology of what each person believes is growth.
Yes,
Because
I agree.
you know what I mean? Because if you're together and you're working a 9-to-5, he's working a 9-to-5, and you're climbing the corporate ladder, that may be growth to them. But the other partner may say, you know, I'm working this 9-to-5 because I want to get this entrepreneurship thing off the ground, or I want to start investing and I just want to pivot from that to investing. Your partner may not believe that that's growth. They may believe that that's a step back because it's going to take too much to get to that point, and we've already built this foundation on this 9-to-5. So that's why it got to be a discussion.
Right. So, all right, I gotta ask: is it better to marry for love or for money?
You gotta be a combination.
Yeah, I think love is important. I think, again, I think Ty made a very valid point. You have to like the person. Like, you literally, like, you can love anybody.
Yeah, that was there's a lot of comments you got to get to, Camari, but that was a fire comment. Like is just as important.
Yeah, to be honest, I think like is more important than love, because love is fleeting. Like, if I don't like you as a person, like if I don't like you, it's going to be very, very hard for me to stay. Like, I got to be able to want to do stuff with you, and we have to be compatible in some kind of way, in a functional way where we can have some kind of fun. Like, if I don't like you, it's going to be like, as much as I love you, I got to leave. Like, I have family members that I love to death, but I do not like them at all. And so
real quick, Camari,
I don't hang with them.
I just want to shout out my wife, because that's my wife right there.
I know. Listen, I don't put nobody's business out.
I just want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the profile pic, but anyway, I just want to give her a shout out because she watching too.
But you have a haircut. You have a haircut in the profile.
Yeah, I definitely did.
That was pre-COVID.
Yeah. It's rough right now.
Yeah. But like is, and then so when I say this to people and I'm married, I'm like, love is the most overrated thing about marriage. And love is overrated. Love is overrated as hell. It is because it's more. I need.
No, I'm not disagreeing. It just sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy, but it's so true. I've been married for 11 years. I've been with my wife for 16 years. If love was the thing that was gonna keep us together, we'd have been apart a long time ago. I know she don't love me every day.
Well, she probably love you every day, but she might not like you every day.
No, she likes me more than she loves me. I'm almost 100,000% sure of that.
I'm gonna go with what you said. I'm gonna push it that way.
There you go. Coming from.
Let's go.
But I think
the Black Wealth Project prom.
I think we should have one. But I think here's the other thing: is that money is fleeting. If you have somebody that's a partner that you like, and you guys can work together, the money will come.
Yep.
It just will. I mean, and again, sometimes not everybody's gonna be on board at the same time. I can be very transparent. When I was working long hours with the Ivy Investor, I'm still working long hours with the Ivy Investor. Ty was not 100% on board. I'm being honest. And he'll say that if he pops up in the comments. He wasn't. And at the end of the day, not everybody sees your vision, but he trusted me enough to say, okay, if she's grinding out like this, I'm going to have to hold on because I may not see what she sees, but I trust her and I trust her vision enough to just kind of get on board. And I think that's the thing about the partnership is that you may not understand every single thing. You may not see the staircase. You may say, okay, I see the step. I don't know. And I think those are the pivot points that Tracy was talking about. Is that okay? Well, we're going to do this. And sometimes you have to drag your spouse along, kicking and screaming. Sometimes, I mean, and I've seen it in my parents' relationship. So again, it's just we have to do things that are comfortable for us and that work in our marriage. I think everybody feels like marriage is some kind of really rote definition that you can look it up in a dictionary and this is going to tell me how to live my marriage, and that's not true. You got to do what works for you. So if polygamy is your bag, it's not my bag. If it's your bag, then rock out. If these other things are your bag, like if you as a man and you feel like you should be, you do things that people attribute to the female in a relationship, rock out. Like again, nobody should be in the bounds of your home, whichever home it is, trying to tell you guys how to live your relationship. And you shouldn't be listening to those who are trying to tell you to how to function in your relationship either.
Got you. Karan touched on something. I thought that was really, really interesting. He said, Corey, you spitting, bro. I told my wife everything and expected to get dumped.
I had the same expectation, dog. I can't lie. I had the same expectation. So once we got past that point, I was like, all right, this is going to work because yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man.
Has a dope lyric. He says, I got a maid, a butler. All I'm looking for is a missus to play cards with all the cards face up, all trust. And so I can't remember what song it is, and I probably butchered the lyrics, but what he's talking about is he wants to put it all on the table. What is it, Jimmy?
The one with Pharrell. Excuse me, what's your name?
Right. Okay. Excuse me, miss. Right. Yeah. But he's talking about how can I be open, transparent, vulnerable? Because your wife just talked about vulnerability. How can we do all that and have this relationship, this successful relationship?
To me, that's the greatest part about it, though. When you're able to do that with someone, it gives you I don't know how to describe it other than like a courage. So when you go out in the world and you know that someone has your back completely and you're vulnerable and they know everything about you and it doesn't matter, they have your back, then you feel like you can do anything. Like literally, like it even like specifically in business, as someone who's in business, like, it gives you a whole different, like, I hate the word, but it gives you a whole different swagger because you feel like, listen, I'm not alone in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I go extra hard sometimes 'cause I know I got life insurance. I mean, I got health insurance. My wife's job, we got great benefits. So some, I'll be hurt financially right now if my own benefits. I'll be hurting, man. So yeah,
It's that
definitely
partnership, though, right?
that partnership works great.
Got you. All right, we got to tie into black wealth, right? So, what happens when one spouse has an idea to make more money to set the family up for legacy wealth, and the other doesn't? I see this a lot. How do you go about that? How do you tackle that?
I mean,
When someone want to drop a mixtape on their SoundCloud and they're like 52.
Hey, listen. So if both people have an income, and and you have you have a money set aside for miscellaneous stuff, take your miscellaneous money and do whatever you want to do with it. And if that's to build a business, then go ahead and take your miscellaneous money and do whatever you want with it. But if y'all already have stuff tied in together and both people don't agree, then then that's when you got to make your choice. You got to say, all right, is it more important for me to build this legacy or stay in this relationship? And so I know people who have chosen the legacy. I know people who have chosen the relationship. And so, that's how that's how we deal with it. I'm like, look, if I want to do something and my wife don't agree, I'm like, all right, well, whatever money I got coming in overhead that we already know that doesn't go into our together pot, then I just take that money and do whatever I need to do with it.
But I'm gonna push back on you, Corey. What about the time commitment? What about everything else that goes on with it? It's not just money per se.
The time commitment is something that we gotta talk about, right? Because my wife is not really clingy, so I don't really have problems with time commitment stuff because she's so busy working on her stuff, keeping the kids together and making sure I don't kill myself, that so the time commitment thing is not really, I can't speak on the time commitment issue because I don't have that problem. But if it was a problem, then that's something that we would have to sit down and talk about. Because if I need to, if I need to put the time in, then I need you to do these 4 things or these 5 things to hold it down. Like Malik said with his wife, she took a year and she held it down so he could go spend the time building the legacy, and now they sitting on something. So that's how you got to have that conversation.
But I'm actually having that struggle right now though, because anybody that follow, I bought 3 lots in North Carolina, and I gotta now start spending time in North Carolina up and down the road, and my wife doesn't like that right now. A lot of it is because of COVID, but part of that is me being away, and so she's going to have to juggle the kids by herself for a few days, and so I might have to burn the road up and get down there and come right back before she got to go to work. But she does not like the fact that I'm buying land in North Carolina, but this is what's going to put us to that next level more so than I think Philly will. And so it's that balance. She don't like it, but I got to do it. So I got to, she'd be upset for a while, but she'd be happy when the check comes.
So, not to get too deep into your relationship, into your business, but how did you navigate that conversation initially?
I told her I was buying land in North Carolina. It's not really know what to say, and so the thing is with me, right? I got a lot of ideas that I'll talk to her about, and some I'm serious about, some I'm not. I might just want to like talk through it. And so when I say something, I actually follow up. Like sometimes she's surprised because I got like 40 ideas every day, including a business where people can have a ceremony, right, and get married, right? So I have these things, and so I'm like, okay, I'm buying land and buying a house in North Carolina. She might saw that as like, yeah, whatever, one of the other things to talk about, but then actually did it, like, okay, now he's serious. Now, how do we make this work?
Gotcha. Jimmy, you laughed. I mean, what do you think about that question?
I was laughing at the way he said he brought the topic up. Like, yo, I just bought some land, but I can only imagine some of the ideas that he's run by her. Because I tell you, he's always after the bag. No matter what it is, he got an idea to make some money. But I think communication is the answer to this question. It's just about communicating. And if again, it goes back to the whole idea of liking and knowing your spouse. So but as you grow and you want to develop or get into different things, I think it's about these conversations. You got to have conversations and be honest about it. So if that was my situation, is to be honest. Like, I'm trying to do this for our legacy, and I'll need this X amount of time. But it's about just clear communication. You don't want to just pop up out of the blue like, I'm going here today, and you know what I mean? So it's about communication for me.
Gotcha. Now, Tracy, when Malik said what he said, you kind of chuckled and laughed. So I'm guessing that didn't sit well with you.
No, I'm laughing because I know Malik.
Exactly. We still got all these ideas. I'm like, oh, Lord knows what she's heard.
You're right. Exactly. But yeah,
I'm
excited when he followed up on it, like, "Oh, you really did buy it?" Okay.
So, but how would you deal with something like that? You're trying to go into a different direction. Your spouse, your husband, isn't necessarily gung ho about it. How would you approach that direction?
I mean, I feel the same way about the comments, communication, and a discussion, and doing what I can to make them feel comfortable. Maybe educating them a little bit more, giving them some more research or statistics on what I'm trying to do, or show them, other examples of other people who've done it, just to kind of, give them a little bit of, roundabout idea. But
so your approach will be more education.
Yeah, definitely education. But I feel like at the end of the day, if we're married and we're in a partnership, you trust me on some level that I'm not going to just go out here and do nothing stupid.
Facts.
So when I bring something to you, it's probably viable. It's definitely something that I've researched to no end. And if I'm willing to put my money and also risk our future on it, it's gotta be serious.
But I gotta push back, right? I got to, because we all know somebody who has that spouse that they don't trust. Like, you gotta.
That's the problem.
You do that.
That's the problem to begin with. How do you have a spouse you don't trust?
You marry somebody you don't trust.
No, so here's the thing. Like, even with me, like,
it happens though.
Like, even with me, right? I think my wife trusts me, but she's still fearful. Every time I buy a house, she's fearful, but that's because nobody in her household has ever been an entrepreneur. They've all been work till they die, work 2 and 3 jobs. And so she hasn't seen that risk being taken. So she's always afraid. If I tell my, all right, listen, I go in the account. If I could have checked for 100, she like, oh, wait, 100,000? And like, no, why you doing that? We need that for later. Like, no, we need it for now. Like, why we work so we can have this shit right now. So she's going to have that fear. And even though I've only had one failed venture out of everything we've done, she's still, that's just her, how she was raised. She was raised to work, so I'm just trying to break that.
Well, I think that fear is a little different than like not trusting you.
But hold on, folks. I'm glad, Malik, thank you for being that transparent, because I see that a lot, right? People have 2 different outlooks on the world. It ain't about trust or lack of trust. They just don't see the world the same way, and they become like partners, married, whatever. And so that's real. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs who have a lot of stress over that, and they don't know how to cope with it. So that's why I brought it up. Go ahead, Courtney.
That's a really, really good point about the difference between being a worker all the time and being an entrepreneur. It's 2 different ideas and it's 2 different mindsets. But if you've never seen it, it hits different. And there is this fear surrounding it because it's, one day you could be up, next day you could be down. And I think a lot of people that understanding of those ebbs and flows, when you expect consistency, is really stressful, especially if you have not seen it. I'm a 3rd generation entrepreneur. To me, it doesn't really bother me. Like, it's kind of like, whatever, it is what it is. But again, it's something that I've seen on a regular basis. So what's normal to me and my idea of the world may not be normal to my spouse. So Tracy made a very good point about educating and communicating. That's kind of where you have to really sit down, and you can't just like forge ahead. You really have to stop and talk and explain. And sometimes you have to forge ahead, but you do have to spend the time to educate and respect your partner and respect your partner's fears and concerns. And sometimes they actually come up with like really good points. You're like, oh, that's a valid point. Thank you for sharing it. Because again, they're not in the thick of things. And again, if you trust your partner enough, you trust their input.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, so let's check back in with the comments. I know there was a bunch of them up there. All right, so Molly said you got to bring an honest expectation of what your partner should be. Alexa says patience is crucial. Monica says, I think flexibility is important, but both parties have to be real about their deal breakers. Amen to that. And are you okay with where they are in their individual life?
Important. Prior to marriage, absolutely.
Tyrone said he's here. Let Courtney know he was in the house. Malik said, indeed. Like is way more important than love. I disagree with that, but it all depends on how you define it. Alexa says yes, and both need to be open to counseling. Yes, I will say this. I think more of us need to embrace counseling.
Oh my God, yes.
In our community and in our relationships. I never forget I saw Puffy talk about how therapy actually helped him go to the next level of things because he was able to release and deal with some of his own personal issues. Priest, what you say?
No, I'm just saying. I personal counseling. The marriage counseling is. I've been to marriage counseling. You know, we had to do the marriage counseling before we got married, but it just felt weird. Like it did. Like, cause I'm like, I don't want to talk to nobody else about what's going on in our relationship. I want to talk to the person that I'm having the issue with, so we can resolve the issue. Like, I'm a solutions oriented person, so talking to this third party doesn't help me solve anything. Like, for me, like, I need to know how you feel about what I said, and then what we gonna do about it. I don't know about this marriage count. Like, I understand it's important for a lot of people, but I need to like we need to know, and then we need to act. Like, I don't know about like the third party stuff. I'm like, because that third party person is just gonna bother me the whole time because they don't work, because they're not there every day. So like
Corey, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Do you believe that the stigmas of therapy have played any part of how you view that?
No, I just believe every relationship is interpersonal, and so if you got a problem with somebody, then you should deal with it. So it doesn't have anything for me personally, because I had a lot of therapy. Like, I started getting therapy in one of the most violent places in the world, which is the Army. And so I've been through therapy a lot personally. So I believe in the personal aspects of therapy, but I don't have a bad stigma about therapy. Therapy's helped me a lot.
Okay.
So I'm gonna add something into that too. Like, I appreciate Corey's perspective and his point on that, but I do feel like for general relationships and people, a lot of people don't have problem solving skills. A lot of people don't have communication skills. A lot of people are going into marriages and not having significant conversations, and then they turn into these huge volcanoes that are erupting because of one small conversation that was never had in the very beginning. And I definitely feel like therapy can help them dig through what the true root of problems are, and also allow people space to be able to communicate that without all the other distractions.
Okay.
So I think
people. Yeah, facts. I mean, Jimmy talked about it right at the top of the show. He said, you know, people get into these marriages and he wants to have children and she doesn't. I've seen that. Like, I've seen that a couple of times. And then you was like, well, damn, y'all ain't talking about that before.
Exactly.
Like, no.
It's always shocking.
But listen, things change, you know, things change. Like, when my wife and I got married, our plan, you know, was to have kids. We didn't do right away, you know, but then after the first one, she was like, maybe we don't do this again, you know, and I really wasn't all for that, you know, and so we hashed it out and we ended up, you know, having a second kid. But after, actually, I saw the first one, but after watching her deliver the second one, I would never even want to put her through that again, you know, for a third one. But, you know, but like I said, things, she grew and she changed, but we had to, you know, kind of figure that out.
Right.
But I wasn't talking about necessarily that, because that is a part of it. I'm talking about some people just don't even have the conversation.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. that's wild.
Big wild.
Okay, so Tiffany says marriage is strange in that You should be interdependent, maintain your individuality while cultivating family.
There's my sister. Hi, sister.
And yes, I expect my husband to grow. Okay. Anything that doesn't grow is dead. Facts. Only dead fish go with the flow.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Come on.
All right. She's fortunate. I think she's talking about you, Courtney.
Oh.
No. That was Malik.
That was to Malik talking about his wife is fortunate that he changed.
That he changed up. Yo, Malik is wild.
Okay, Tyrone said growth equals evolving. Adrian says both. Love is a choice. It's a verb. Yes, love is a verb. You have to do it. You have to choose it. Absolutely.
Every single day.
Oh, man.
Monica on here flexing.
That's my quarantine barber.
Hey, listen, that's a partnership, right? I hope you ain't like
That's right. That's right.
I hope you ain't never like Mr. Fixing to get shades.
That's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust to let somebody cut hair.
That's right. All right, so Karan says, yo, this part is so appreciative of my wife. And this part, I took a 9 to 5 because I had some doubts about my business and aspirations. She let me rock for like 2 years and was like, get back to building your thing. I did pick up a hell of stock while at the job.
As you should. So.
We always gravitate to people we like. We open up to the people we like.
For sure.
I got you. I see what Tyrone. He's coming back to the point about love versus like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So yes, Courtney, I learned that marriage means something different to everyone. I try not to judge. Absolutely. Courage is like a superpower.
Yeah, buddy.
Stay in your lane. I think that was the comment that Courtney made about separation of duties. Somebody would be devastated if a hurricane swept that thing up. That's I'm not sure what that's relationship to, Carla, or relating to. Question is, Alexis asks, is he or his wife the breadwinner?
This is about Malik.
Yep, it's Malik. It's definitely Malik.
Would he be okay with her telling him that way? Malik, would you be okay if your wife did the same to you?
If my wife was like, I want to, 100%, yeah.
And she said, I'm buying it. You was fearful. She was like, I'm going with it. And she just said, I'm buying property in North Kakalaki. You cool?
No, understand this. We don't even have a joint account. I'm saying, so yeah, go for it. We don't do joint accounts. Her, we have like a retirement, how we do stuff, but like a personal bread. I don't even know how much money she got. She don't even know what I got. She don't even know how many houses we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, our relationship is full trust. So yeah, if she's like, I want to do this.
Courtney, I know you're going. Courtney, I know you're going.
Don't do it.
Courtney wants a full stop right now. Like,
she put the Chris Webber time out up there.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
A whole nother show.
Take a breath. All right, so Tyrone says we take ambitions. We talk ambitions and ideas all the time. I'm cracking up at Courtney right now. Nothing's really a surprise because we provide a space to express ideas and ambitions. That's important. That's very important.
Alexis said, time out. Alexis said flag on the play. Absolutely not. Your spouse should know what the devil you have. Like, that is completely that's the other side of black wealth. That's anarchy. Like, if something happens to tomorrow,
it's not anarchy. If what works for him.
He got his will.
But hold on, Courtney, hold on.
In the will. He made a will in the trust, so it goes where it's supposed to go.
Okay, cool. All right, as long as, okay, fine. But here's the thing. What about the power of attorney?
Listen, Rhonda took care of the power of attorney. Rhonda took care of the will. Rhonda got us taken care of.
No. But as a power of attorney, you still have to know. And the reason why I say this, I just had this conversation with the person who runs my finances. If something were to happen to me, I have a booklet of all the stuff that I have, every single thing, because if something happens to me when I pass away, yes, everything's covered in the will. Most of my assets are non-probate assets, so they do not go through the will. But here's the thing: if something happens to me and I'm on a ventilator, that's a power of attorney kicks in. And actually the power of attorney is active now. So somebody has to know where all my stuff is. They have to make sure the bills are paid. They have to make sure that things are taken care of properly. They have to make sure all of those things. And if you're not communicating about what you have, that's how things get lost. And I've seen that happen.
Right. No, it's all everything. I understand what you're saying, but everything is documented. You know, my cousin is my accountant. He has all the instructions, and I have everything. Right now, she can log into my Gmail, my Google Docs, and she can see everything if she chooses to. She might look in there, but I don't think she actually does. You know, she accesses everything.
You said
she doesn't know because she doesn't want to know. Because it's available for her to know. She just doesn't want to know.
She has access to everything.
One, people are not like that generally, and I want to make sure that since we're talking about Black wealth, this happens a lot. I've actually had, when I was running the sheriff's sale for the city of Philadelphia, there were a lot of people that would come to us saying, I got notification that I may have ownership in a property that's up for sheriff's sale. I didn't even know my father, sister, cousin, brother, blah, 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 had this property, let alone, and they died a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And had I known that, I would at least pay the property taxes. But
we got the deeds. She know where the deeds are. She got everything. Huh?
And that's why I was like, flag on the play. That's not what you said. She said,
all right, but hold on. We're not going to air out all Malik's personal information.
I don't mind the conversation. I'm okay with that. I'm fine. No.
We see a lot in the community. That's why I was like, ooh, flag on the play. I mean, normally I'm like, whatever.
What I'll say is this. She does not track what I do, but she 100% has access to everything that we have.
Okay.
You know, the bank, like I said, everything is documented. Matter of fact, we had to do it all to give it to Rhonda so Rhonda can do everything. Mm-hmm. So open the document up, she can see everything today. Now, that does not include the 3 lots in North Carolina because I didn't own that last week. So now I have to update the paperwork for that. But otherwise, she has access to it, but she does not clock the houses.
Hold on. So I want to make a point. Malik just said, since we're talking Malik's business, right? He just got his will done. Shout out to Ryan Anderson, who's an estate attorney. He just bought 3 lots, right? He now needs to change his will already within a week's time.
Not really. It depends on
Hold on, Courtney. I know people that have never changed their will or updated their wills. Mm-hmm. So Malik's situation has changed within a week. Just think about some of these other folks that ain't looked at it in a year, 10, 20 years. So as a quick reminder, folks, review your will.
Yeah, please.
Hold on, Courtney. Let me get to the rest of these comments. I'm almost done.
But this is an important part of Black wealth.
I know. So just put a pin on it real quick. Partnership is key. All right. And Khalif says communication is everything. We're communicating, Courtney. Alexandra says, who's matter? Oh, that's me.
These are old. These are like 15 minutes old. Just as FYI.
Yeah. Well, we still got to get to. We got to acknowledge our guests. We got to honor our guests. Don't be. But you don't know what regarding solutions. Some people don't know how to work through their problems. That's what they need therapy to teach them to. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But some don't know where the problems come from. So how do they work through solutions? Right. I agree.
Great point.
Exactly. The flag. Okay. Flag on the play. Mm-hmm. That's where the shenanigans started. Mm-hmm. and Courtney is with the ish. So she's ready to get at it.
Yeah, she with the shits, and I like it.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to say that, Corey. I'm glad you said it for me. Thank you. Kahan Vic said, what I found most relationships go through similar common issues. Conversations like this help and can be counseling without going to formal counseling. I believe our families and close network can help us navigate a lot of marriages. Couple are willing to. I'm getting some feedback over there, guys. Are willing to be transparent, seek help instead of trying to figure out everything out between. I agree. Okay, you don't have a will. Get a will.
Yeah,
get a will. Hit up Courtney. You doing wills? Courtney don't do wills. All right, hit up Rhonda Anderson.
I do wills. I just finished the will, but I don't do. I mean, I did a will for a family friend. I don't normally. I have an estate practice. I can do it, but I do not.
I got you, Miss Witt. If you are in Pennsylvania, hit up one of us and we can direct you to somebody to get a will. Please get a will, though. Please, please. I think couples have to be careful of involving in family, though. Yes, I agree. Especially if you're going through a tough time. The rough patches can run family the wrong way. Absolutely. I've seen many a mama get involved and take sides with their son. And then the son and the wife get back together and they patch it out. But then there's this rift between the mother-in-law and the wife, and it's never good. Keep stuff close to the heart, close to the pocket when it's like that. Yep. Okay, Courtney. So I know you're chomping at the bit. So
I really don't even remember.
Yeah.
I was like, you can run through the comments. They're 10 minutes old. Like, I don't know. We don't like, oh yeah, that was a good problem.
But they still need to be acknowledged. So
how we saw them, but I don't remember. But I was saying to Malik, it was about the construction of the will. He may or may not have to redo his will. A good will actually capture most of the things in the rest residue remainder clause, which basically is like a catch-all clause. But it just depends on how it's written, and it depends on how the property is titled. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I tell people to check their wills around tax time. Unfortunately, it's tax time. It was the longest tax season that ever existed in the history of man. Like, I just can't even. But check them at tax time. Also, change your will. There's a big event in your life. So if there's a marriage, there's a divorce, a birth of a child, that's when you should be looking at your will. So those are the things that I tell people to kind of think about. And then also, a lot of people forget about this. I have seen this happen at least 5 times in the last 5 years, is that when you get divorced and you do not change your beneficiaries on your non-probate account, so insurance, retirement, whatever, your former spouse could get money that they're not entitled to.
It happens all the time.
5 times I can count on my hands. And again, it's usually against what the person who died wanted. But unfortunately, because they didn't update it at that major life event, that divorce, then the wrong person gets the money. And it's a non-probate account, so you can't even fix it. Once they die, it's done. It's boom, we're done. They get the money.
That'd be an interesting funeral.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, all right, as we move on to the next topic, does anybody have any closeout comments about marriage as it relates to Black Wealth?
I think everything was said, man. We pretty much touched on everything.
I just want to add, make sure you guys understand, marriage is the personification of the African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Tracy dropping bars.
Yeah. We gonna leave it at that. Nothing else to say.
Say that again one more time for me, Tracy. One more time. It was so dope.
Marriage is the personification of the African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Ashe. All right, so moving right along, let's talk about our next topic. Nick Cannon versus the Jewish community. What do y'all think about that? Nick been taking heat this week.
This is gonna be a long show.
Man. I know you put that up.
I'm gonna give Nick a half a bar, man. Listen, Nick, man, you gotta do some studies before you start talking, so you don't gotta backpedal, right? Say what you mean, so you don't have to backpedal. You didn't do your proper studies. That's why you're apologizing. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Anybody else got anything on that?
So I think it was interesting about his wilding out, that he's been doing wilding out, I think, like 16 years or so. He's been doing it for quite some time, but he didn't
trademark it.
Yeah, he did not. He did not trademark it. About 4 years ago, Viacom did. And he's arguing that he was using it first and then therefore has the superior title. I'm not 100% sure that's the case. But again, this is why you need to protect your stuff. So, when he assumed that he was going to have this amicable relationship, I guess into perpetuity, and now it's not. And now he's like, hey, this thing is mine. I built it and I don't have ownership of it. And I think we talk about ownership all the time in terms of Black wealth. These are the things that we should be taking a look at. What do I own that? What do I attribute to my name? And what have I built personally? And how do I protect it? So
anybody else have anything for that?
I just want to
No, I mean that's actually a good case study, man, and that he doesn't own well. Now I like to see how he built restaurants, everything around that brand, and you don't own it. How do you not own how does he not own it? but has restaurants and other things under that brand. I don't understand how that works, right? But
and he's got money,
huh?
And he's got the money to do all the stuff he needs.
And he has the money and the attorneys. I mean, that's just weird. And he's been in the business long enough to understand intellectual property.
But again,
he created a bunch of shows. Like, why wouldn't he do it? But real quick, Jimmy, I'm gonna say this. I posted today. I would like to see Kanye West if he get the same treatment as Nick Cannon for his comments today.
Kanye a weirdo.
Yeah, Kanye might need
to me, this whole story was a lesson in ownership and power. You know what I mean? Like, whether forget what he said and all that. I mean, but what came out of this for me, at least, was a lesson in ownership and power. And what you just said, Camari, about him having the means to take care of it but not doing it, that's very important to look at, because I think Aretha Franklin, as well as Prince, like, died without a will. And Aretha had money longer than Broad Street, like, and there was no will there.
No. There's definitely a will.
It was a will with her. It was Princeton. One of them didn't have a will.
We'll talk. We'll clean it up when we. That's a mess. Prince died intestate. Aretha did not. So
okay. I know it was one of them or both of them, but that was interesting to me too, because that's someone who has been working forever, has the means, similar to what you just said about Nick. It's not a situation where you don't have the means to take care of it. You just, I guess, like Courtney said, figure, hey, I'm gonna ride this out forever. Everything's gonna be fine until it's not.
Right, Courtney, clean that up real quick. What were you about to say?
Aretha actually did. So initially, they thought that Aretha died intestate. However, when they went through her belongings, they found, I believe, 4 different wills. The problem is, and she wrote them all by hand. And when you write a will, when I sit down and write a will, I'm like, are there any other wills out there? And sometimes people have them, sometimes they won't. The first thing that I write is I revoke any other wills or codicils that ever existed in this world because it cleans up. Because what happens if you don't do that? The courts will try to read all of the wills together. So, and it just causes all kinds of a mess. So what she did is she actually provided what's called a holographic will. A holographic will is a will, and not every state accepts them. It's a will that you actually write out in your own handwriting. So she did 4 of those. But again, there's conflicting provisions. So the court has to read them all together, which takes more time. Attorney has to basically say, well, based on all of these things we've read together, this is how the assets should be distributed. And apparently, if sometimes she wrote somebody in, and sometimes she wrote them out, it causes a lot of confusion. This is why you got to have professionals do it. So I think, honestly, Jenny, to your point, she probably would have done better had it been intestate. And the thing is that she has a special needs son. Her son, I believe, if I can recall the story correctly, around the age of 19, I believe he got into some kind of altercation. I want to say it was with the police, but that could also not be true. But he definitely got into an altercation with some third party, and it led him to develop me disabled. So as a result, he was living with her. So when you have a special needs child, you probably need a special needs trust. So she didn't have that protection for him, and she should have. So there were a couple of things where things fell down, which, honest to goodness, like I said, it might have just been better had she died intestate. So we'd at least have a very clear path to who gets what. And the court petitioned the court to say, okay, this particular person does not have the capacity to handle their own affairs. We ask that the court appoint a guardian. I mean, and it would have been just a lot easier. And it's really unfortunate because, again, she had the means to do so.
And back to what I was saying. That's just further proves my point. Like, she had the means to have this straightened out, but it just wasn't done. And that's actually a sad story as well. To have the means, and just like, I mean, it sounded like she was getting pissed at somebody and just pick up the pen. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna take you out of here real fast.
She decided to write some lyrics instead. It was a will. Tracy, what do you think about this Nick Cannon thing?
I mean, I feel the same way as everybody else. It's definitely a power and ownership thing, and you gotta have ownership of your stuff. You gotta be able to have your brand available to be able to do not only what you want with it, but also to make sure people can't take it from you, and be able to say what you want on your platform.
Right. But I guess it wasn't his platform.
No.
Now, I wonder what's going to happen with Cannon's class. I think that's his, but hopefully he does everything he's supposed to do to protect it. I think it's really interesting, right? I think every time somebody black person says something that quote unquote might be kind of out of the way about the Jewish community, that we always apologize. And when you look at the true definition of Semite, black people can't be anti-Semites because we are Semites, right? We're all the descendants of Abraham, and that's what a Semite is. But what I really, really find interesting though is that black people haven't learned the same lesson. That when someone says something about us, that we make them apologize, that we make them back down. And the only way to do that is you really got to have a level of solidarity, and everybody got to be on code. Everybody got to be on code. And I think it's really sad that we don't have that in our community. People can say what they want to say about us.
You gotta have that power. You gotta have that power first, bro. You gotta have that power, that ownership.
I would disagree.
But also,
go ahead, Jim.
Well, Camari, I just want to say that the show, his canons class, I know he put up a picture of the next one. He has the actual rabbi on coming on his canons class. So you know what that conversation is gonna go like already before we even watch it. But so I don't know if he's gonna make that his last one or that's still part of his apology to her.
Yeah. So like I feel like he's like getting publicly lynched. Like he's like, I don't know, man. He looked weird to me. Like I want to say something, vulgar, but I'm trying to keep it not PG, but not vulgar, because he looked like a real bitch. Like he looked like puss. Like, come on, man. Like, dude.
Why? Because he's apologizing.
Yeah, man. Like, if you said what you meant, then say it. Like, I'm a person. I don't back up off nothing I said. I said it at the time I said it, I meant it. So
yeah, but think about it like this: it's not just him, right? Wilding out. How many black
jobs? There's a lot of jobs and stuff.
There's a lot of jobs.
There's a lot of people putting a lot of jobs involved.
And he probably getting pressure in a way that we can't even imagine. Like in terms of his wife, his kids, his ex-wife, kids, and so. I mean, if you move different when you have things to protect, right?
Right.
When you feel like, but it's just it's overall just that situation, but
that celebrity sound like a cage though. My thing is, if that's what you meant to do and meant to say, then the money should be freeing. And so,
well, see, that's the thing though, right? So we gotta have that's a whole other conversation. All these people who we feel like have freedom. That's a whole that's a whole show. Like, when you have these people that we consider celebrities that have resources and we think they have a certain level of freedom, they're less free than we are.
Absolutely.
Because you just built the cage, because now you got to think about you and 75 other people's job. And if that's what you meant to say, now you got to backtrack off something that you meant to say. Like,
because he didn't own the platform.
Yeah.
That's the key to all of this.
But hey, I'm gonna say this.
Not even he didn't own the show. If he owned the show, he could just move the show and everybody would still have a job.
Right.
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm gonna say this, man. I don't have a problem with his apology, right? And the reason why I don't have a problem with it, like if somebody say they offended and it's somebody I care about, right? Then I don't have a problem saying that, okay, I'll apologize for offending you as long as it's the truth behind it. I think what you said earlier is true, that he should have been studied up with the truth and the facts. And if the facts are not on your side, then for sure apologize. If the facts are on your side, explain why you felt that way versus whatever. But I have zero problem with him apologizing that he offended. I know I had a conversation on my page pretty openly with for some Jewish people when I asked, like, what did Nick Cannon say, right? And how was it defensive? And what the Jewish people said is that, stuff that he talks about is the same thing that the Nazi used to say that Jews from the world and why they should be exterminated. And like, is that true? They said it's true. They said it hurts him. I'm not mad at the apology, But once again, if he was studied up and he could stand on the truth, then no, he shouldn't have backed down from it. He could apologize for hurting him, but he shouldn't necessarily have backed down from the conflict. If you feel that way. But when you say stuff like they savages because they want to beat us, that is not based off of fact. That is your opinion. Some people are savages because they just want to be savages. Understand? So that comment and alone, but I don't see what he said. was any
that comes to only your platform though. Like if that is just his feelings, like who's to say that his show is just based on fact? It could be his opinion because it's his show. But again, like you have freedom of speech, but you have to deal with whatever comes with that. Just understand that when you have freedom of speech, you still have to deal with whatever comes with that.
Absolutely.
Well, you can see here he was slated to have a new show, and it looks like he's going to lose that opportunity as well. But I mean, like you said, freedom ain't free, and so you still have to fight for your freedom. So to Corey's point, when you are constructing and building out your empire, you got to think about the cages that potentially will be there as you go along. I mean, it's very, you got to be very deliberate about that thing.
And I would also say too, like I really, really, really hope that this is a life lesson for Nick Cannon, and that he really, really understands the power and the people's lives that he holds in his hands, and comes back stronger, whether it's a network of his own or resources or connections with other people who are like-minded with him to build the brand.
Listen, man, you got to know how to move in a room. But let's put it this way. Sam Greenlee gave you the game, man. And for those who know who Sam Greenlee is, he's the author of The Spook Who Stepped Out the Door. But, I mean, that's the blueprint right there.
Absolutely. But I will say this, and this was kind of my Black Joy moment. So I'm line crossing a little bit. When I saw Puff tweet out to Nick that we got a home for you, ever vote, I thought that was cool. Whether it really had anything,
that is cool. I just wish Puff.
Hold on, Blake. I don't know if it had any real teeth behind it or if it was real, but I did think that was cool. Go ahead, Blake.
Now I'm saying it is cool, but Puff can't even get on Comcast in Philly. You know,
I think he's got a couple of deals in the works. So I know he is on. I don't know about Comcast, but he's definitely on DirecTV. And
right. So remember when he jumped in to the Byron Allen situation? Comcast don't carry Revolt in a lot of the markets,
but Verizon does. So it's still an outlet for him.
But does he need these people? Like, you could run, you really don't. And I mean, I think as much as we look at these internet providers, we look at these networks. These networks are actually in competition with these other providers, such as Netflix and all that. I don't think Comcast is going to be able to do what they do. Yeah, exactly. Alexis just made my point. She said Comcast is not everything when necessary when everything's online. So what? Okay, Comcast don't carry him. 5 years from now, Comcast who? So I'm not moved by it. He can come out with his own infrastructure online.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I mean, but I guess the thing is, he really doesn't though. He's structured as the way he has his structure now is a little different. But yeah, I know they do have their own YouTube channel, but outside of that,
right, Revolt.
You can't like get Revolt. We can't just go get Revolt and just like have it as a independent thing right now.
No, I got Revolt. I got Revolt TV. It comes on. I got direct. So
yeah, but you have direct TV though. That's what I'm saying. The way he has a structure, it has to
Verizon Fios as well.
Yeah. But what I mean is he doesn't have it where it's like independent, say like a Netflix or like something that you can just get a subscription to. You have to go through something else.
But to Courtney's point, he can create that. He can create his own subscription system.
No, absolutely he can.
Dame Dad's got a subscription system. Why can't they?
No, that's what I'm saying. He can, but he has yet to have done that. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
And I hope and that's what I was saying. I hope this is a lesson to him that he needs to research his options of other things that he has access to create the platform that works best for him.
All right. So we good with Nick. Like you said, hopefully he will keep all his legal affairs intact. Hopefully him and Byron Allen will talk because Byron clearly has a legal team. So maybe he can give Nick some pointers there. Yeah, but listen, moving along to our Black Magic moment of the week. What does everybody have? I just kind of gave mine. I tipped my hand. Mine was when Puff reached out to Nick on Twitter. Does anybody else have a Black Magic moment of the week?
Yo, I got one. Urban One, who got the pump and dump stock. They bringing back Black Planet, man. So shout out to everybody who was on Black Planet back in the day. It's back. is owned by Urban One. I just set up my Black Planet profile at JW the Blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Black on social media site.
So hold on, Jimmy. Is that really black magic to you, or are you clowning right now?
No, I'm serious. Like, here's the thing, though. We talk all the time online about like, what if we could have our own? We could have our own now. Granted, this is like a test so far, a testing site. They really haven't got it fully up, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But I think if they could pull it off, that would be amazing. We make all of these sites. We make Facebook, we make Twitter, we make IG, we make all of them, but we don't own any of them.
I opened up a Black Planet account when they said Solange owned it. Like when I remember was going around, I opened up an account back then, like maybe like a year ago. I used it like a couple of times, but yeah, if they revamped it, you know, I think that would be a cool situation to do.
All right, Malik, do you have a black magic moment of the week?
I do, man. Listen, Rick Ross murdered that entanglement song. Listen, Rick Ross verse. Listen, that thing, Rick Ross came off on that. You gotta listen to it, man. Rick Ross did his thing.
Ricky Ross.
Yo,
no, he went crazy. He kind of clout chasing, but he went in though.
Yeah.
I can't.
But listen, I do think it was kind of reckless for August Alsina to put that song out. He had put out other songs about Jada before, so I guess it's par for the course.
And if Jada could have a Red Table talk about him, he got to be able to make music about her. That's what he do. Red Table is her thing. Music is his. So if we gonna talk about it, we gonna talk about it.
No, he started the party. Like let's remember how we even got here. He had the conversation
too.
In the interview.
She'd have never opened her mouth.
Responded. And now here we are again. It's like a daggone volleyball match.
Right.
Let the ball go.
Hey. The bigger somebody got to choose to be the bigger person. I don't know if it needs to be. Somebody got to choose to be the bigger person.
Right.
He's 20. Hey, listen, I can't tell people how to respond when they feel hurt. Like he feel like
it's definitely messy. But once Ray J like dropped, I hit it first. Like nothing else looks as messy anymore. So it's like that's like with that being a song, like that's what a bar is at this point. So like it's not at that level. So
he definitely can't make Kanye neck.
Rule number one in these relationships that are high visibility with entertainers and money and businesses tied in, you need to have an NDA. You cannot have these extracurricular polyamorous polygamy, whatever you're doing with that's extracurricular for what you're presenting in the public, and scared that it could ever turn bad if you don't have an NDA. Why are we doing this back and forth?
Hey, listen, Mary Trump had an NDA too, and she broke it. So,
how you going to find the Tracy? You can't sign a piece of paper trying to hide it. Your husband find a damn piece of the NDA. Hey, wait a minute, what's this for? You can't do that.
You don't think Will has an NDA for his extracurricular relationships?
Oh,
I can't.
Sure
I don't think black men don't cheat. Black men don't cheat.
Easy, young G.
Say it again. Say it again.
I'm not even a whole nother
black men don't cheat.
That's right. Black men don't cheat.
Yeah.
All right, Courtney, what you got on this? What you got on? What's bringing it back to the topic at hand? What is your black magic moment of the week?
I don't think I have one. I don't think I made one that I
Wait, whose turn is it?
You.
Whoever got one.
Did I talk about my little blue check, y'all? Did I talk about that?
Yes.
Yeah, you talked about that last week.
You can tell us again, though.
I feel excited. I got a little blue check, y'all. I don't know what else. I don't know. I've had a really crazy week. I sat down and did my work, and I was like, oh my goodness, did I sleep this week? So there's no blue
check, bam.
Blue check. But 3 ways to avoid financial entanglement.
Oh, and she included entanglements. Oh man.
I feel like you gotta take a shot every time you say entanglement. Somebody need to take a shot.
Right.
You know what? You know what,
Drunk as hell up in this show. All right.
We should do a happy hour like that. You be right. That'd be fun.
Yo, I be drunk. I be drunk. I be falling off my damn seat right now. But I don't really talk about entanglements. I'm a child of an entanglement, so I try to mind my business.
Okay.
So
I feel you.
I mind my business when it comes to entanglements. As a child of an entanglement, I'm glad I'm here. So I'm gonna mind my damn business.
All right, Jimmy, what's your black magic moment of the week?
Oh, I thought I just told you already.
I'm getting lost.
Yeah.
I have one. I closed on some properties this week, so congratulations to me.
Let's go get money.
Congrats.
Oh, you closed this week?
I closed, yeah, man.
You serious?
Yeah, man.
He bought acres.
Yeah, I bought some acreage, man. I'm
So is it gonna be permanent now? We got a destination for Texas. We gotta do a show in Texas.
I mean, if y'all want to, but I mean, I'll be back. But if y'all want to come here, you know,
nigga, you ain't coming back.
I am coming back.
I tell him that every day. He's not coming back.
I still haven't dropped the house on it or nothing. I just bought the acreage. I'm still deciding how I want to, you know, set it up though.
Modular.
And I like how. Well, listen, I'm changing my black magic moment of the week. My black magic moment of the week is Corey and Malik, because y'all buying property out of state. Y'all hitting these highways and byways and buying property out of state. That is what's up.
Quiet town, tie it down.
Right.
That's right. Find a quiet
town. I supply it now.
That's right. Got to get that paper, y'all. So, listen, we are coming to the end of the show. We always ask our panel, how can we be supportive to everyone? So, Corey, how can we be supportive to you now that you got the mansion and the yacht?
I need to GoFundMe now because all my funds tied up. So if you got my phone number, yeah, I ain't put my cash app out in the streets because my cash app tied to my phone number and I don't want everybody calling me. But if y'all got a couple dollars for me, you know, I'm tied up in that property. And so I need money to be functional and make moves out here in the world. And my other money tied up in the stock market. So if you know me and you like me, send me some money.
All right, Courtney, what you got? What you need help with? How can we support you? I'm coming back to you, Courtney. Jimmy, I think everybody's on the floor now.
Yo, all right. No. So here's what I'll say. First off, shout out to the students at Temple University because BuyTheHood is doing a summer program at Temple that Corey cooked up for us. So
nice.
They learning about investing and what have you. So shout out to them. Anybody out there that has any experience in precious metals, I'm trying to learn the precious metals game that I don't have any experience in. So I've been constantly stuck like reading, YouTube University, and I've actually talked to one brother who does it as a basically for a living. But I'm looking to learn from some people that have experience in that space. I know real estate, the stock market, but I've never really delved into that sector, and I'm trying to learn more. So if anybody out there has any connects with anyone who deals in precious metals, just like hit me up.
Okay, all right. Tracy, how can we support you?
Mine is always the same. Buy some property, own something. If you need help, reach out to me, Real Estate Tracy on Instagram and Real Estate Tracy on Facebook.
All right. Malik, how about you? How can we help you out?
Listen, support you? This right here, this is my son's brand right here. Trust Fund Kid is my son's brand. He came up with the name. I helped him out and to design it. And it's his brand. So if you could go to my page, click on the link, and click on the Trust Fund Kid T-shirt, my son would appreciate the business. That's his first entrepreneurial venture right there. So
show it again, Malik. Show that shirt again. Show the shirt.
Trust Fund Kid.
I like that. Now, what link on your IG, your Facebook? Where should people go?
No, it's on my IG, my link tree. It says, like I said, Trust Fund Kid T-shirt. And you can grab one right there. I got them for like the cheapest, one of the cheapest prices you can on Teespring. So you can order it there. I'd appreciate that. My son appreciate it.
I like that.
Dope.
All right, Courtney, what you got for us? She's still.
Listen, just follow me on Instagram. I mean, that's all I got. That's all I have.
All
So,
right, everybody.
The Ivy Investor on Instagram. Oh, I actually need people to go to my blog. Like, I actually did share. We talked about Prince not having a will. I did share with Camari the Prince article that I wrote. Oh my gosh, it's been 4 years. 4 years ago about his entanglements with his estate. So check that out. And follow me on Instagram. Yeah.
That link is now in the comments. So everybody can go click on that link and go read that article by Courtney on the Ivy and the IvyInvestor.com, right, Courtney?
Yep, IvyInvestor.com.
All righty. Well, listen, everybody, I appreciate everyone being here. One way you can support me, I just launched a podcast. Go listen to it. It's called The Finance Rebel Show. It is on all platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google. It's up on all the major platforms. The Finance Rebel Show. Go take a listen to it. Leave a rating. Got to listen to it first. And listen, you ain't got to give me a good rating. Give me an honest rating. That's what I want, so I can get better. So
you want 5-star ratings? Give him 5-star ratings, please.
Yeah, I'm about to say, give us 5-star ratings. I don't want.
Give him a 5-star rating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Ignore that dumbass advice that he just gave. Give him a 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Yeah, don't listen to that dumbass shit. Go, give him a 5-star rating, man. What's wrong with you, man?
Listen, I like honesty.
Not there though.
Yeah.
Honesty, we want 5 stars.
Tell him to hit you on your IG with the honest shit.
There you go.
Yeah, like
that part.
Right. So, what's cheating? All right, everybody. I appreciate everyone that's here. I am honored that you're all here. Hopefully, you had a good time with us. Do us a favor. Go like and follow Go like and follow the Black Wealth page on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Like always, we will be back next week, Sunday, 7-ish. It's supposed to be 7 o'clock, but we'll be back talking to you about another topic involving Black wealth. Have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great week. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hasta la